Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our gathering hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine.
Play those jingle bells.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough. We are an open and welcoming congregation, so whether you're a member, friend, or guest, we are so glad you're here. As a lay-led congregation, there are a lot of contributors who make our services possible, and we want to offer a heartfelt thank you to all our volunteers. Today we are also lucky to be joined by Aurora Tennyson, a member of our congregation, who will be offering her sermon entitled Light a Candle. Before we create our sacred space and begin worship, let's take a moment to share any announcements. The only one I have is to make sure your cell phones are silent.
The RE class is collecting snacks and items to support kids in need at New Hope Elementary. We made snowflakes with items needed and put them on the board outside the RE room. This one is earbuds.
If you would like to help, take a snowflake and bring it back with the item listed on it by December 17th. Thanks for your help.
Okay, so today, so to hope you all know, today after the service, we're doing a tree trimming. Then we'll get all the decorations out. And then on December 16th, a caroling in the evening here inside. There's more in the e-news about that.
Okay, I have several announcements. One of them is that AC needs rides the last 3 weeks in December, so please see me if you want to sign up. You can either sign up online or you can come to me and I'll sign you up online. That includes Christmas Eve and New Year's. The second one, I just wanted to let you know we have some really special services coming up for the holidays. Next week is going to be our Festivals of Candlelight. which is always, we light candles for all the different holidays that are this season. It's usually a really beautiful service. On December 17th, Patty Hanneman is going to be preaching here. So if you're new to our congregation, Patty was the minister here for a number of years, and so this is her first time coming back in probably about 2 years at least. So, and then on Christmas Eve, we have a service only at 5 p.m. It's on the Sunday, so it's only at 5 p.m., not during the day. And lastly, on December 31st, we have a special fire ritual that we're working on planning. And so I hope that we'll get a good turnout for that, because it's going to be really spectacular and magical and fun. So, oh, there was one more thing. The songbirds practice tonight at 7.
Hi, I'm Kim Freeman, and I'm your listening ear today. Anything you need to just talk with anybody about, I am happy to be there for you. I'll be around after the service. I don't know if the weather's going to hold, or I'd say I'll meet you by the ear. And anything you say will be completely confidential, and this one will be elsewhere, I promise.
What? Okay. We're having the online opportunity for people to share their ideas about the UUCH mission. And we shifted the date by 2 days, so it's now on December the 14th. The registration link is in the e-news, so please, even if you participated, but after that event you had more ideas or more feelings, you're welcome to bring them on the 14th, and we'll go from there. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm just mentioning that there is an in-person MINCO meeting briefly. Where, Amy? Where are we getting in?
The yurt on the right. I don't know what color it is.
At one of those yurts out there at 11:30 right after the service. Right?
If there are no more announcements, let's now prepare for our worship time together by reminding ourselves of who we are and why we gather. We are a community of liberal, open-minded people who strive to connect with one another in love. We are a people defined by covenant, not creed. That means that we are committed to a way of being with one another rather than to a statement of belief. To that end, we support each other in spiritual growth and deepening of faith. We challenge one another to find more love, both inside ourselves and in the world. And today, we welcome you with open arms to our house of worship.
Our opening words today are Invitation, the poem Invitation by Mary Oliver. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy day, and a very important day for the goldfinches that have gathered in fields of thistle for a musical battle to see who can sing the highest note, the lowest, or the most expressive mirth, or the most tender? Their strong, blunt beaks drink in the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake, and not for mine, but for the sheer, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say, it is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg you, do not walk by without pausing to attend this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life."
We now create our sacred space by lighting our chalice, the UU symbol for the light of truth that each of us seeks, the light of hope that each of us brings, and the eternal light of love. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 94, What is This Life? Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take some time to reflect on the concerning happenings or special events that have occurred this week among our members and friends. Some choose to share aloud, while others choose to remain silent. Here, we make room for both. For those of you who would like to share aloud, please take a moment before we begin to center yourself and collect your thoughts so that what you share this morning is personal, heartfelt, and brief. Please come forward, tell us your name, and share what is in your heart. When you are finished, you may release a stone into the vase on the altar. For those of you who prefer to silently acknowledge your joys and sorrows remaining in your hearts, I invite you to come to the altar and release a stone into the vase in silence while Aviva plays Dark of Winter. After she plays it through one time, you're all invited to join in singing one verse of the hymn, and the words are printed in your orders of service. We hold all these things within the heart of this community, both spoken and unspoken, by remaining silent for a moment as we consider what has been shared and how we might respond. Let us close with Amen and Blessed be.
Amen. Blessed be.
At this time, let's sing the children to their RE classes with the Children's Blessing, which is in the back of the gray hymnals.
Good morning. I grew up in a household where Christmas was a big thing, all caps TM. Lots of decorations, even more food, and my mom's extensive collection of Christmas music. Two songs that I especially loved were instrumental versions of the Coventry Carol and Silent Night. Silent Night is a really well-known song and beloved by many, but the Coventry Carol is less well-known. You've probably heard the melody of it, but I'd be surprised if you could sing all the lyrics. The song is invariably played as an instrumental piece, kind of thrown in with like Good King Wenceslas, I Saw Three Ships Come Sailing In, and other quaint carols that have kind of gone out of fashion. However, the main reason the Coventry Carol isn't usually sung is not because it's old, but because it's dark, very dark, for a Christmas song. The song starts off as a lullaby. Laloo, laloo, like little tiny child, bye bye lily, lily, which seems really sweet. Maybe this is a tune singing to someone singing a lullaby to the Christ child, and then it'll go on to some wondering and praising like Christmas songs normally do. It does not. As the song unfolds, it reveals that this anonymous child is being sung to, so he will stay asleep and remain silent, a silence that his life depends on. His mother and aunts are desperately trying to hide him from King Herod's soldiers, who are slaughtering the other infants in Bethlehem in a failed attempt to eliminate the Christ child. The song ends with them singing a mournful farewell, indicating that quite possibly they failed in their task of keeping the child alive. Did I mention it was dark? So, after enjoying the melody for many years and how haunting and lovely it was, I was shocked and dismayed as a teenager when I heard the lyrics for the first time. This is a Christmas song, I thought. Christmas is about light and happiness and joy. This is depressing. Why would anyone want to sing this at Christmas? I have been fortunate that apart from the year I got the stomach bug, my Christmases have been very joyful. As I matured, though, I realized that such holidays are not always the norm for everyone, including myself. Some holidays are filled with family tension or estrangement. Some holidays are marred by anxiety over lost jobs or mourning the loss of loved ones. Some holidays are spent worrying about loved ones living close to conflict or bombarded with news of war, pestilence, and disease. In short, some holidays are better reflected by the Coventry Carol than by Joy to the World. Over time, I've come to realize that Coventry Carol is a song that we need for this time of year too. It's a song for those filled with uncertainty about the future. It's a song for those consumed by grief. It's a song for the time when the nights are long and the chill of the world is piercing. It's a reminder that we celebrate light coming into the world, not because everything's great, but because we need hope in the midst of darkness. Which brings me to Silent Night. Similar to the tradition of this congregation, the church I grew up in always sang Silent Night as the last hymn during our Christmas Eve service in a dimly lit sanctuary. As we did so, we passed light from candle to candle, and the flickering candlelight spread to illuminate the faces of everyone in the congregation. The safety, hope, and connectedness I felt to everyone as the light grew in the room was profound. So, how do we reconcile the fact that we live in a Coventry Carol world filled with literal murder of innocence with the desire to preserve the hope of Silent Night this holiday season? How do we navigate tumultuous times and still maintain compassion and connectedness? When trying to find my place as a young adult and to make sense of the suffering that I saw happening in the world around me, I came across two quotes in rapid succession that gave me clarity. The first, attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt, who was probably actually quoting someone much older. And it was, "It's better to light a candle than curse the darkness." Reflecting on this quote can give me courage to do some small thing to counter the overwhelming doom when grief or worry or weariness with the sorrows of the world grow too great. The second quote is from a less famous source, a letter from a friend of mine, Sean McCrowan. "Light is not the candle we light for all days, but for each day, and each day it is maintained is a victory." I especially like this last quote because it flies in the face of the popular narrative that we must somehow always be striving to improve. Sometimes it is simply a victory to maintain, to keep our little ship afloat, to protect one dear thing, one day at a time. Sometimes also we need to practice something again and again and again until we can move ahead. At this time of year, when nights are longest, rituals involving candles take place in many religions. So how do we move from lighting these literal candles to the metaphorical candles of hope and positive change? The two things may not be as disconnected as they appear. Michael Puett writes in his book, The Path, about the philosopher Confucius, known to Westerners as Confucius. While many philosophers take a big picture approach, wrestling with grief and suffering by asking questions like, What is the nature of good and evil? Why do bad things happen to good people? Confucius took a more down-to-earth, light-a-candle approach, both literally and figuratively. At the core of Confucian philosophy is a focus on how small, everyday patterns and rituals can be practiced, altered, and perfected to bring about large-scale changes. This focus on ritual often causes others to portray Confucius's philosophy as obsessed with tradition and trying to maintain oppressive social hierarchies. Puett offers a different, and in my opinion, more accurate interpretation. Confucius's intent was not to maintain the status quo, which during his lifetime was full of social strife. Instead, he emphasized ways to use ritual as a way to cultivate goodness and societal change. We can do this too. I want to share with you some types of rituals that I have found helpful in getting through stressful holiday seasons, in hopes that it will be useful to you too. The first order of business is rituals of care. Those daily tasks we need to keep ourselves and our loved ones alive and healthy. When in the throes of grief, mental or physical health problems, going through a breakup, moving, caring for an aged loved one, or caring for small children, sometimes the only holiday rituals we can pull off are to warm up a microwave dinner and remember to brush our teeth. Casey Davis, author of How to Keep House While Drowning, which I recommend to anyone in any of those above situations, emphasizes early in her book, your space exists to serve your needs. You don't exist to serve your space. And I would say the corollary of this is that rituals exist to help you. You don't exist to do rituals. So long as you and those living beings under your care are fed, safe, and clean enough to prevent disease, all the rest is gravy. You don't have to do any holiday ritual that is unhelpful or overwhelming, but once you get your head above water, you might find you can benefit from them again. Sometimes we need a safe space to feel those dark Coventry Carol feelings. Grief is an emotion that we're often urged to put aside, especially during the holidays. I believe this to be a mistake. Negative emotions are just as valid as positive ones, and it's okay to be sad, homesick, or worried. When missing my late father during the holidays, I often think about a quote from the movie Shadowlands, which is about, which if you haven't seen the movie, it's about the love and loss experienced by the theologian C.S. Lewis, and it's a really good movie. The quote is, "The pain now is part of the happiness then. That's the deal. Great grief is forever tied to past joy, and it's important to remember both." There's a famous Buddhist parable in which a woman mourning the loss of her son goes to the Buddha and begs him to bring her son back to life. Instead of turning him away for wanting the impossible, the Buddha wisely sends her on a quest of connection building. He tells her that he can help her only if she will bring him a single mustard seed from a home that has not been touched by loss. Years later, the Buddha finds the woman again. She tells him that, while she failed in her quest, death is universal. She was transformed by connecting with others in grief, and eventually dedicated herself to a life of service to help others in pain. When grief is fresh or especially lingering, rituals of loss can help provide similar connectedness, and sometimes, but definitely not always, transformation. Many congregations have a longest night or blue Christmas services for those who need a time to acknowledge their grief, whatever the source, and bond with others in a similar situation. In addition to helping with grief, rituals can help us transition through other life changes, such as marriage, births, coming of age, New Year's Eve celebrations, or one such ritual that can mark our collective passage through time. Sometimes, however, the rituals themselves must change. Confucius argued that the intent of the ritual was more important than what you were actually doing, and that changing a ritual to better match the intent was much better than doing things simply because that's the way it's always been done. As life circumstances change, it's often necessary to alter, simplify, or cast aside particular rituals in favor of new. The first Christmas after my dad died, my mom, sister, and I couldn't bear some of the family traditions that reminded us of him, so we looked for something new to do. And by sheer and hopeful coincidence, that was the year of the first solstice lantern walk, which was an absolutely magical experience. And that's now become a new, really loved family tradition. The more hopeful change of having a baby shifted our New Year's tradition. No longer will we stay up till midnight watching a marathon of all the Star Wars movies, followed by sparklers and a raucous toast. Instead, we had a few friends over and some toddler-friendly snacks and a juice toast, and we celebrated New Year's in the Azores, which the islands celebrate New Year's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so we counted down as if we were there. Fortunately, the tradition of sparklers with friends works just as well at 8 p.m. as it does at midnight. Although rituals can be solitary endeavors, the most effective ones are often done in community. Pewitt writes at length about how communal ritual creates an as-if alternate universe where we can practice new patterns of behavior. These as-if spaces help us to focus our emotional lens that we see the world through and improve the way we relate to others in response to our emotions. If we practice them often enough, we can become more connected and more compassionate. The whole reason that I've regularly attended church much of my adult life, even though I consider myself to be an atheist, is because I found communal worship just to improve my mental health and improve my outlook on the world. Confucius was especially adamant about the importance of music in ritual, and I think he was onto something. I know that caroling and singing hymns with friends and family definitely uplift my spirits, and research bears out that I am not alone. A study on the communal effects of singing by cancer patients showed that those assigned to sing in a choir had better mental health and better markers of immune response. Other studies have found that singing in general helps improve cognitive function in dementia patients, eases postpartum depression, and lowers anxiety. Fortunately for us as a congregation, we have plenty of opportunities for communal singing here this holiday season. Communal rituals don't have to take place in a formal religious setting to be important or transformative. Eating special meals and cooking together with friends or family, decorating together, attending holiday-related performing arts events or parades, gifts exchanges, watching beloved movies together, all can foster connectedness with those we care about. Once rituals have brought us to a place of stability and community, we must take the flickerings of hope and connectedness we feel in these as-if situations and carry our tiny flames out into the world. If the ultimate point of ritual is to cultivate inner virtue and societal good, one of the best ways to light a candle instead of cursing the darkness is by participating in rituals of service. Some of these rituals are facilitated by civic or religious institutions, including our own, giving food or gifts to those in need, building houses, attending protests, providing education, encouraging justice. Some are individual acts of kindness to strangers, or providing habitat for the many beings that share our world. Confucius is quoted in the Analects as saying, "If you want to make a stand, help others make a stand. If you want to reach your goal, help others reach their goal. Consider yourself and treat others accordingly. This is the method of humanity." Like the sharing of light when we sing Silent Night, rituals of service increase the light of love in the world without diminishing our own light. My fervent hope is that this holiday season, each of you, whoever you are, find rituals that bring you comfort and peace. May we use the gift of ritual to bring tiny sparks of hope into the world, for each day one is maintained is a victory. Amen, and blessed be. No, I don't go there.
Each week, we take a monetary offering to support our social justice work in the community. Our plate collection this month goes to CIM, and you may donate by putting cash or a check in the basket. Make checks out to UUCH and put plate in the subject line, or you can also donate online by scanning the QR code in the order of service.
Tiny spark of hope.
Please join me in our prayer of collective gratitude found in your orders of service. For the love that surrounds us every morning, for the friends beside us, and for the generous gifts just received, let us be truly grateful. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing hymn, number 226, People Look East. Our closing words today are Hope Continues by Kevin. When the candle dims, the wax almost spent, the light turns amber like a sunset. Still it provides light. Still it provides heat. Still it can kindle new flame and pass its glow on and contribute to new illumination. When sunsets turn to new days, when seasons transform all, when the candle dims, all is not lost. Hope continues, uncertain and true, like candlelight, ready to spark again. All is not lost. Now we will extinguish the chalice. Please join me in saying the chalice extinguishing words printed in your orders of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace and blessed be.
Yeah.
I tried giving it like 10 hours. There was a loud beeping sound.
I just turned it off, everything went off.
It was a lot of practice.
You're okay.
Where's the power switch for this?
It's working.
Yeah.